you can see there that they've cut it apart with an oxy set. Bit of a shame, but anyway, they didn't want anyone to have it. So that's the mast, that's the clevers for the ram. The mast goes on here, and the clevers for the ram goes on there. And when they cut through it, they also cut through the hydraulic lines, but it didn't matter because they didn't think it was ever going to work again. Had a lot of little problems. The base for this was rusted out. I've cut it off and I'm going to make a new one. I'll sandblast it and tidy it up nicely. And this worms needs a bit of attention. The bearings that are inside there, there's a thrust bearing just in here. That thrust bearing is basically no good. You can see a lot of rust around it. But anyway, it's not a problem, it's just a case of purchasing a new one. What else have we got wrong with it? There's actually not a lot other than it being cut in half. So what I'm going to start with, I'm just going to start by grinding these surfaces up, putting a bit of a bevel on them on both sides, and then I'll re-tack it together and then weld it out completely. Once I've got that part done, I'll just check the movement, and it'll be just make sure that it's going to go up and down. And then I'll strip it all down. I'll take it up to work, sandblast it, and paint it, make it look pretty. Now the hydraulic unit. So basically the way it used to work was you turn a key on, it would energise this coil, that would run power from here through to the pump, turn the pump on, and that would allow you to use these valve bodies to control it. I'll be basically doing exactly the same thing. Yeah, I'll just have a key set up. Might even just put an emergency stop button on there. So if something goes wrong, you can just whack the emergency stop, and that's kind of the end of it. But it was really bad. This whole tray here, you can't quite see in there. That whole tray in there was full of muck. So it's still got a lot in there.
What have you got there? Did you cut it in half?
Yeah. Oh, it's alright, I'll weld it back together. Have welded can weld.
I think it's raining this person ever.
So when they've cut this, they've really butchered it. So basically, that's about where it should have been, maybe even further out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a doubler plate inside there. and then I'll see just how bad it is. I don't think I'll get away with putting a strap around the outside because I don't think there's enough room inside the clevis. But we'll have a look. Might be lucky, you never know. So I've put these doubler plates in. It'll help me line it up, one on that side and one on that side. But there's a lot of work to do here. So if you look right down the bottom, you can see a nice little gap there. Probably a little bit too much. But have a look at this hack on the top. So what I'm going to have to do is build some plates up inside there on both sides. I'll tack this together and then assemble it, and then just do some minor adjustments just to make sure that it's going to close in the right position before I start welding it all up. So you can see what I've done here. I've put these plates inside. I've just tacked them in there to hold them in place. And then this piece that they cut off, I'm just putting back on here. Now you can see the gap that they've left me to weld up. In places that's 20mm. The material that I've used for the backer is as thick as this parent material here. I'm basically just going to gradually fill this up, let it cool down, fill it up, cool it down, fill it up, cool it down, and it'll create a pretty good bond. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with that. What I'll have to do now though is I'll have to put it all down on the ground and just set the jib up, which is that piece there, just to make sure that it's running parallel to the base. So what I've done here now is I've set the two of these up to be parallel on this platform. Not that it's a great platform, but it'll be close enough for what I need. I'm just going to put some tacks in here just to hold it, and then I'm going to close this up and just have a look what my alignments are like. Basically what I'm trying to achieve is that two of these are parallel when it closes up. That way I know that it's not going to push off to the side when I gradually lift it up. Now you can see that gap there now. It's probably about, it starts at basically 3mm and ends up being around about, I'd say 10-15mm, and on the top here it's about 30. All I'm going to do here, I'm just going to weld up the back side, weld up the front side, then I'll pull it out and I'll have another look at it. So you can see in this weld how we had a nice little gap there that was pretty much perfect for putting a pass of weld on there. When we turn over to this side, this is what we're left with. So we're going to have to do a few passes through there. And what I'm hoping is that I can use a piece of plate. May not be able to, but we'll see how we go. Just use a piece of plate in there as a doubler, just to give it a bit of extra support. I can probably get away with it on the back easy enough and on the front, but these sides where I'd really like it, I doubt it very much, because it has to fit in between there. So we'll see what happens. Huh?
I'm not sure my work health and safety tick.
So, in other words, what you're saying is you might fail a drug and alcohol test at the very moment.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to step away. Step away from the heavy machinery.
It weighs a bit, it's about 100 kilos, so
Right.
I don't want to spill in on you.
Some wine. You do a cheese with me for Bill Curry when you're ready.
To do what with it?
Cheese.
Oh, a cheers.
Yeah, for Bill Curry when you're ready. Oh, you got it, baby.
Yep. There you have it. I'm pretty happy with where I've got to today. Got all of it welded back together. I was going to double it all, like put a stiffener plate over the top of it. I don't think there's any need. I think the weld that I've put on there is strong enough for that. I have got another one of these. That one's I'm going to do a bit different. This one's just going to mount on the front of the trailer, so we can lift things on like welders, air compressors, generators, pressure washer, stuff like that. So the other one I've got of these, what I want to do is I want to mount a winch on it. The reason for that is because I want to be able to pick up from a long distance. This one can basically only do this and slew around. It's good enough for what we need for the trailer. So where to now with this? I'm going to go and give it all a good wash. Debating on sandblasting it, I really don't think so. But in saying that, I'd really like to, because I'd like to see it all in nice, neat paint. I've got a problem with one of the pins. I can't get it out. I really need to press it out. It's that one there. That's for the top clevis on the ram that lifts the jib up. Everything else came apart relatively easy. I I'm glad I read the manual that I found. It told me how to take the little blocks out that are the wear strips inside the jib itself for where the extension comes out. This thing's going to save my back. My son's probably going to change car engines with it. So right now I'm just going to put it all in the back of the ute. I'll take it away, I'll pressure wash it and clean it up. I'll go and get some hoses made. That's where I'll leave it for now. I can do some more through the week that you guys probably won't need to see anyway. It's just a bit of pressure washing, make a bracket up here and there. Next bit will be putting it on the front of the trailer and giving it a test run.